Good evening, sir. It's a pleasure for us and NDM to have you here at Smart India Hackathon.
My pleasure.
So, would you like to introduce yourself for the audience, sir?
Sure. Tell me your name first.
Sir, I'm Abhishek Vasu. I'm doing my second semester in Marketing and Media Communications.
Nice meeting you, Abhishek. I am Gopichand Katragadda. I am the Group Chief Technology Officer for Tata Sons. And in that role, I look at technology and innovation across all Tata Group companies. And that's, as you know, more than 600,000 employees. And we are in many different countries and many different technical field and many different markets.
So that's quite good. And so I just need to know, so this is an initiative considered a worldwide hackathon. Smart Hackathon is the biggest hackathon over worldwide. So what are your views on that?
I think it's important to get hands-on on problems. So the way I think about it is the problems here are presented by AICTE, and from a technical education standpoint, the way I think is that there are three areas that students need to pick up. One is the fundamentals, and in India what we are good at is the fundamentals which are theoretical, but we also need to get good at fundamentals which are hands-on. Right? So that is an area which will be helped by events like this. So that's one area, fundamentals. Second is the technical mindset or an engineering mindset. So what we are good at is looking at components, looking at components in an analytical way, subsystems. But to be able to understand systems, again, problems here, you should not just look at solving the problem from a very small component level understanding. You should try to understand the system interactions of what you're building. And again, that's something which I hope you have recognized from the participating teams. And finally, it is about execution. So today in Hackathon, you're going to have a couple of days to...
So 36 hours of
36 hours
coding.
Yeah, so that's good to be able to do something in 36 hours. But in life, it's going to be different in that you have to deliver quality work, right? On time and on budget. And there is no question of which is more important. You will have to do all three. Again, from an India perspective, if you look at execution, what we are very good at is executing with the lowest possible budget. And in executing, one of the things which I lay emphasis on is documentation. Right? So when you execute something, to be able to execute with the same quality 10 years down the road by somebody who has not been part of your team today, it requires very strong documentation. Documentation is also required for you to collaborate with yourself in the future, right? Because you might go to some other job, come back, you will be a totally different person. So it's not only about collaborating with the future, it's about collaborating with yourself. And in India, we do not document. So that is an area that I would like the teams to pick up, that whatever be your work in these 2 days, document it, right? Talk about it, and that will help you grow. So again, I'll repeat, one area is fundamentals. In that, we are very good on the theory side, get better on the hands-on. Second is the mindset, engineering mindset or technical mindset. We are very good at analytical component level understanding, get better at systems. And the third area is execution. We are very good at the budgets. We need to get better at documenting for the future.
So this Smart India Hackathon was an initiative by the government, a social initiative. So can this initiative be taken by Tatas as well, or as by any organization of your industry, just to give the same level of platform to these students?
Absolutely. I think what the government is able to do is do it pan-India, do it with numbers. We have a Tata Makerthon, which we run at universities. So we have been doing that for some time now. And our focus is to do one at a time, to do a problem at a time, and to lay emphasis on the areas that I talked about. So we did programs where we did a drone launch pad. We have done work where we are looking at the endurance of a drone. This is just in one particular area. We also looked at AR and VR kind of applications. So we are looking at it definitely, and I'm sure other companies are. We call it the Pioneers Makerthon because Tatas were founded by pioneers, and that's the brand that we wanted to carry. But also we wanted to highlight people who are good as pioneers.
So in the near future, do you think that industries like yours can actually partner with the government for these kind of events? to actually have some angel investors, not just from the government but from the private sector as well?
Yeah. So the hackathons is and should be looked at as one of the many areas where different kinds of people come together. The government, the students, the industry, and scientific organizations, technical universities, and so on and so forth. But it's only one such opportunity. And it is not always going to be that you have a makeathon or a hackathon and you end up with VC funding, right? So it might happen. And in fact, in the work that we have done at the Tatas, there are many such opportunities which show up. But what I would caution against is that you put in a focused effort for 2 days and that results into some funding. Life is not like that. So you have to be willing to run the long race, and that's when you will see that people are willing to team up with those who are good teams and who understand that it is going to take perseverance for you to be successful.
So as you rightly said, life is about the longer race, not the sprint. But as BTech students, we see around 1 million graduates every year, yet only a percentage of them getting employed. So what can private and government institutions do to reduce that count?
So I actually think that we need to ensure that we're fixing the problem at the fundamental level. So everybody aspiring to be an engineer is maybe good, but jobs won't work like that. So I think it is important to realize that engineering is one profession. And there are so many other professions, and we as an industry should be able to draw from different professions and create employability in that sense and create a pride of employability in various professions. We are not going to fix the problem by saying that we'll provide 1 million engineering jobs. That's not going to happen.
So another question is about AI and machine learning that's coming in the next dawn of it. So how is BTech students who are under the AICT approval, do AICT need to change dynamically? Because a lot of times it's like this stagnated syllabus. And so even though what they study is not practical when they come to their corporate world, because in that training period they have to relearn again what they have studied plus what is actually needed in the corporate world.
No,
so
I've seen universities across the globe, and what differentiates good educational institutions from those which are okay is the fact that the good ones are constantly learning. They have a sense of insecurity. The best institutions have a sense of insecurity, and I would advise that any educational institute, any principal or head of department or faculty member should have that sense of insecurity, that I am chartered with the responsibility of creating the next generation. Am I missing something? And it is good to have that insecurity.
And so it is being said that AI and machine learning is going to make us lose a lot of jobs. So what are your views on that?
So I actually have a counter view. I think that whenever a new technology comes, there is a period of disruption. There is no avoiding that. Those who keep themselves current will always find opportunities. Those who are stuck with one way of doing things will fall behind. And that is an old way of things happening. That if you are keeping yourself current, you will not find an issue. So let me talk about AI. I have used neural networks in 1992 for my master's. So I was working with NASA, and I was working with the space shuttle main engine. We were developing an electromagnetic sensor to inspect the space shuttle main engine. The classification of the signals which were coming out, we were doing using neural networks. Today, what you're seeing as deep learning is not at all different from what I was using. Computational power has increased, and also some modifications have come. Because of increased computational power, I can have many more layers and make it meaningful. Previously, when I had many more layers, actually it was not improving the classification. Now I can also put a convolution neural network ahead of the deep neural network to automatically pick features. I was doing that manually in the past. So these are the differences. Now we are talking 1992 and now it's 2018. So if you say AI is new, for me it is not. I today can code in Python a deep learning neural network and make it do things which I hope that all the people who are coming out of the university will be able to. And it's not difficult. You need the confidence, and you need to know that you will never know everything. You have to learn all the time.
So you mean to say that one person should have the capacity to learn and unlearn himself side by side?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and insights, sir.
Pleasure.
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thanks.